Am I on now? Yes, you are. Howdy, folks. And howdy, folks in here. Nice to have you join us. So there's lots of room here if you want to come and check out the vibe in person for our Get Real and Heal meditation service. My name is Reverend Mike McMorrow, and I'm here with some of our friends and with all of you at home. So we're going to do like we've been doing for a while. We're just going to shake the day away. Well, we're going to twist the day away like we did last summer. Remember when we did that? We've been doing this now for a year. So we actually did twist like this last summer. Just saying. So let's twist like we did last summer. I know. But I don't know that I have the voice for that. So we're just gently swaying, loosening up and activating the spinal column for our meditation time tonight. All right, and let's call that good enough. And then we're going to do a few forward folds. So you yoginis out there who don't need a chair, but if you feel like you need one, there's a couple ways that you can do this. And so if you want to use the back of the chair or a table, which is where I start the morning, so we just take a deep breath, raising the arms and exhaling, and then you can just put your hands right on the chair in front of you, bending your knees, and you're just allowing yourself to gently stretch the lower back, try and do a flat back, right? Not rounded, but a flat back. And we're stretching out those hammies, the hamstrings gently. And also in this position, we can stretch out the shoulders a little bit also. Then take a deep breath, bend the knees, tuck the tummy, lift the arms, eyes up top, and then release. And back down again. And just gently bend the knees, and then as you can, just stretch your hamstrings. And maybe take a couple breaths. Release the head. Tuck the tummy. Bend the knees. Up we go. And then if you're in a chair, of course, you just scooch out to the edge of the chair. Then exhale down. And as far down as you're comfortable. So if you can't make it all the way down, you can just grab your shins or down. And some of you show-offs at home, I'm sure, are putting your hands flat on the floor. Good for you. But this old stiff guy can't get down there. Yet. And again, I can feel the hamstrings. And a gentle stretch in the back. Tighten the tummy. Up we go. And exhale down. Exercise is so good for you. Yeah, just let your head kind of hang and the average head weighs 14 pounds. That's why your neck is so sore. Of course, some people have lead in their head, and then that makes them weigh a lot more than that. Deep breath. But no one here has lead in their head. Exhale down.
Yeah, yawning is good. Yeah. It releases so many good chemicals. Tighten the tummy, up we go.
And hands on our waist. And let's see if you can get a yawn. Just allow yourself a nice little yawn. Okay, and we're going to just stretch the head, neck, head, whichever, to the right, gently, and then to center, and to the light, to the left light. There's a beautiful blue painting that I get to look at here. To the center. Now, if you come in to the center, we've changed the paintings, moving our gaze to the right. And you can see the other blue painting. And this is back to the center. These paintings are part of the Chakra series by Margot Gravel. Eyes to the left. And they're a beautiful mixed media painting, acrylic paint. To this exhale to the center, and then it has all kinds of glass, some mirrored, some small like tiles, some strips. To the center, gazing to the left. And the thing that's cool about them is they catch the light. And so to the center and to the right. When you look at them, they catch the light. So the painting's different as you look at it from different places. All right, to the center. They glimmer, yeah. And they really have a great energy to them. And so we're happy to have them back in our center. And you should come and check them out, like on Sunday. All right, so let's do some side bends. So right hand on the hip, left hand down with the thumb off to the side. Let's take a deep breath, and we're just going to gently stretch over the side and look through the armpit to the left, and exhale. The hand goes down on the hip, and we lower the right hand down. Eyes front, the right arm goes up, and we're stretching that side. Look to the armpit, and exhale down, taking it back to the other side again, dropping the left arm. Inhale up, and let's lift the ribs up off of the waistline. So just create some space in there. Turning to the left, getting a couple breaths in there. All right, deep breath. Exhale down. Right hand down. Breathing on the way up. And again, lift the ribs up off the waist. And exhale down. Left arm down. Breathing on the way up. Looking through the armpit. Feel the stretch. Exhale down. Right arm down. Breathing up. Looking to the right. Feel that stretch. Oh, that feels good. Release. Okay, so let's do some shoulder rolls today. So just put our hands on the waist and just give it a little Carmen Miranda. I'm dating myself. Who's the new dancer on X Factor or something? Or masked singer who moves her shoulders around? Who? Maybe Adele does this in a good moment, okay, and then reverse. Rolling in the deep. No, she never does that? To the camera? Well, we're just doing this to loosen up the shoulder. Now, can you feel that in your upper back also? All right. All right, and so then let's just twist a little bit more. Actually, I don't think Adele sings that high, right? What? Rolling in the deep. So who would have ever thought that Griffith Park, which makes such a magnificent stage for that program, was that amazing or what? The way they lit it, production was so good, and she sounded great. And her lips were right in time with the recording. It was amazing. That's professional singing there. All right, so let's make our way over to the cushion. Adele would never lip sync. I know that. Oh. Well, then maybe we'll just do it live. Why not? So you can, unless you would like to come light the flames for us. Would you like to do that? So Miriam will light the flames for us. Since, yeah, so she's going to come on up and get warmed up. Oh, no, you need to do that part. Okay. I need to do this part.
And then go right to left, or just start in the center over here?
Not in the center. That's our healing candle. Oh, no, you want to use
Oh, we do it first?
this candle here.
Oh, okay.
And then you can start over there and work your way
Okay.
back.
Thank you.
It's best if you go top to bottom so you don't light your sleeve on fire. The things you learn in ministry if you've been around for a while. All right, so thank you for working with us here. So let's take a deep conscious breath here and at home as we come together for our call to service, which we call Lighting the Flames of Faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. And that fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Miriam lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. In the 10th candle, we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center, within our online community, and within our own hearts. And now as Miriam makes her way to the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
So grateful, I'm one with the Spirit all around me.
Thank you.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God.
Let's just take a deep breath together. And in that exhale, we just surrender to this eternal now moment, claiming it as our own. As we step away from the busyness of the day and still the worldly clamors of the mind, and just bring in a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for our friend Miriam to step up and light the flames of faith for us, for Evan Renzen to work the soundboard, and Dylan's out painting the window with festive scenes. Grateful to have spiritual community where we can be still together, and in that stillness have a shared experience of the divine, uniquely individualized within each one of us. And so we feel a sense of oneness and unity with the cosmos, with the cosmic mind of the living Spirit in this moment. So as we set the intention for this meditation experience, each within our own heart, at the same time we practice non-attachment as to the unfolding of this evening. That we're here to observe through the simple practice of minding the breath in mindful ways. We take a deep breath and release, and in that release we're just releasing this evening to its own divine unfoldment, knowing that it is perfect. So we release it then, let it be so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So we've been working with this book, The Infinite Way, as you regulars know. I'm jumping a chapter because in January we'll be starting with a new book. Something that's lends itself a little bit, even though for me, Goldsmith this has been good stuff for me to read. And this particular, for these next few weeks, we're going to be reading in metaphysical healing. And this is where the rubber meets the road. Because he's going to be speaking about cultivating an I am consciousness. An I am consciousness. So the name of the divine given to Abraham, I am that. Abraham, Moses. I forget now. One of the big, I think it was Moses. I don't know that Abraham was that curious because he got kind of freaked out. Kill your son. What? No, I wasn't there. But with Moses, right, that I am, because they wanted to know what is your name? Right? I am that I am. And so the words I am are very powerful in this way. And so we want to be careful with whatever word we put behind that. So as much as I like to joke around being a minister, what we say about ourselves is not a laughing matter. So we want to be mindful of that. And so he talks about that I am consciousness is what we are. And so from this perspective, he says, healings are always in proportion to our understanding of the truth about God, man, idea, body. That healing has nothing to do with someone out there called a patient. When someone asks for spiritual help or healing, that ends his part in what follows until he acknowledges his so-called healing. We are not concerned with the so-called patient, the claim, the cause of the illness or its nature, nor with his sins or fears. We are now concerned only with one thing, the truth of being, the truth of God, man, idea, body. The activity of this truth in our consciousness is the Christ, the Savior, or healing influence. Let me read that again, because this is a big notion to swallow if you come from a traditional background. The activity of this truth, the truth of God, man, idea, body, the activity of this truth in our consciousness is the Christ, the Savior, or healing influence. Failure to heal is a result of much misknowledge of the truth about God, man, idea, and body, and this misknowledge stems primarily from orthodox religious beliefs, which have not been rooted out of our thought. Few realize to what extent they are blinded by superstitious orthodoxy. He's calling it like it is, isn't he? There is only one answer to the question, what is God? And that answer is, I am. God is the mind and the life of the individual. Any mental hedging or inner reservation on this subject will result in ultimate failure. There is but one universal I, whether it is being spoken by Jesus Christ or John Smith. When Jesus revealed that he seeth me, seeth him that sent me, he was revealing a universal truth or principle. Now, that's a lot to think about. Merry Christmas. You either understand this truth or you do not. And if you do not, there is no need for you to seek any further reason for failure to heal. The revelation of Jesus, the Christ, is clear. I am the way, the truth, and the life. And unless you can accept this as a principle, And therefore, as the truth about you and about me, right? About everyone. And that means everyone. Now I can think of someone right off the top of my head. What about him? Yes. That Christ principle is there also. Until we understand this and to know this, right? And to know it like deeply here, not here, right? You have no foundation upon which to stand. The truth is that God is the mind and life of the individual. God is the only I. Now, that sounds kind of sacrilegious in one respect, until you understand that what he's talking about, that's true for me and everyone else too. In other words, this entire world is a manifestation of the I am expressing. And as we are reflections of the consciousness of the divine, that we too can work within this consciousness. That's what he's getting at. And I have to tell you, I can think of the ways that I'm not that, right? But what he's saying is that even that thinking, that kind of thinking must be rooted out for us to be effective. Because the truth, we will demonstrate, but we're going to demonstrate to our awareness of how this is true for us in our life. Now, for myself, this has been an unfolding thing. I can tell you 20 years ago, I had these kind of books in my library 30, 40 years ago, and I go, wow, that's really interesting, but I don't know, can I really say that? Right? Because when I'm thinking about God up there, in the old thought forms of the punishing, transactional God. But what Goldsmith is talking about is a healing consciousness, is understanding that we are one with the divine and that it's all one thing. And when we really understand this to be so, then when we speak our word, we can speak it with authority, knowing that it is done. So, but Goldsmith is a challenge in this way. We look out upon the world with our eyes. We are not beholding our bodies. We are not seeing this infinite divine idea body. We are beholding a more or less universal concept of the idea. As we see a healthy body, a beautiful flower or tree, we are seeing a good concept of the idea, body, flower, tree. When we are seeing an aging, ailing body, withered flower, decaying tree, we are beholding an erroneous concept of the idea, body, or manifestation. We term this improving of concepts, healing. Actually, nothing has happened to the so-called patient or his body. The changes come where? In the individual's consciousness, and becomes visible as improved, right? So even here, he's kind of implying that there's a process. It's improved. He doesn't say spontaneous healing. He says improved belief or healing. For this reason, the healer alone must accept responsibility for healing. And that means you and me, right? He's not talking to me, hey, Rev, it's your job to be out there healing. No, this message is for you within your own consciousness, within your own body, within your own family unit, within your own, as a citizen and a global citizen, that each one of us is doing this work on our own. For this reason, the healer alone must accept responsibility for healing and never try to shift the blame for non-healing onto the person who asked for help. Right? In other words, if someone comes to me looking for prayer treatment and they're not experiencing a healing, it's, I don't get to say, well, geez, what's in your consciousness? People do that. The individual is I am. That individual is I am. Life, truth, and love. And his body exists as perfect spiritual, eternal, harmonious idea subject only to the laws of principle, soul, spirit. And it is our privilege, duty, and responsibility to know this truth. And the truth will make free every person who turns to us. Right? To us, those of us, because not everybody thinks this way, right? Did you think this way? Coming out of the chute? I had to find my way here. And I got to tell you, my path was a circuitous one. It was the stony path. And today, life is not like that. And I know thousands, and by extension, thousands more, who no longer see life in this way. Right? So when we understand that our consciousness creates our reality, that we are responsible. If it's going on out there, then there's something that needs to be healed within here. And that sometimes is a what in order, I can't go through with it proposition. And if you find your way thinking that way, just be gentle with yourself and just take a breath. And just release that thought, and then either sleep on it. Right? Sometimes I just give it a little time, or find someone that you can share with. So in our denomination, those folks are called practitioners. And they know the truth with you and for you. That's their sole task. And they've been doing their own work with this unloading of false belief, which is what Goldsmith is talking about. We got to unload that stuff, the orthodoxy, right? The dream of limitation. So, and this is a good time to do it, like right now, and in this season, when we're bringing in light into darkness. All right, so let's start by taking a deep conscious breath and releasing. Focusing our attention on the breath in the nostril. And we don't usually work with mantra, but tonight, since we're working with this reading tonight, let's work with, on the inhale, God is, and on the exhale, I am. And that will be our simple meditation for this evening. To focus on the breath, God is. And on the exhale, I am. God is. I am. Then on that I am exhale, just focus your attention on the exhale of the breath in the nostril. And you'll see you'll go deeper pretty quickly. All right, so taking a deep breath and releasing as we move into the silence now for about 15 minutes. bringing our attention gently back into the room, staying with the breath. God is. I am. God is. I am. So from this I am consciousness that is within, we see this as that flame of the divine within us. And staying with the breath, we fan this flame. With each in-breath, as we fan that flame, this flame within grows in brilliance and radiance, a flame that illuminates rather than consumes. So we see this flame growing in intensity until it becomes a ball of light within our heart center. So within each in-breath expands, recedes a bit on the exhale, just as we would blow up a balloon. Let's raise our shoulders. I am. So that this ball of light now is extending beyond the body, torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom. We feel ourselves immersed in the light of the divine. We stay with the breath and allow this light to extend beyond us, enlightening the room in which we sit. That this very sanctuary now is enlivened and dancing with the light of the divine. That your room is now dancing with the light of the divine, that all of us meditating together, creating this field of light. So we just allow ourselves to breathe in this field for a moment or two and just smile. And feel that shift in your countenance with that smile. And so within this field of conscious connection with the divine, we recognize and know that we live, move, and have our being within a field of infinite field of possibilities for good. And that even now, those shadow aspects of our consciousness that may have been the purveyors of error in our thinking, that it is now, those shadows are now dissolved. And what remains is the light of the living Spirit. So we feel a sense of strength and vitality, flexibility, and radiant good health within the body temple. And as we know this radiant good health for ourselves, we know it for Dana as she works through a diagnosis. We know it for Cammie as she continues to work through her own diagnosis, where both are getting stronger every day in every way. That for any other friends that we are aware of, that we are just knowing the light of truth for them, that we see their body as a light body of the divine expressing. That we see our own body as a light body of the divine expressing. That we feel our heart expanding and connecting with others in this meditation. Connecting with maybe others within our domicile or even the building in which we live. That we feel a connectedness with our brothers and sisters of which we share this earth realm with. And that we are knowing in this field of light a sense of peace, of harmony and serenity for all. We are knowing a sense of peace on earth, goodwill for all men and women. That our mind is open and receptive to new and dynamic ideas for any seeming challenge that has presented itself to us this week. That we are confident in knowing that the solution is already in place, and that we are open and receptive to capture that new idea, and to know that we are working with infinite power to help us bring this idea into demonstration. That we attune ourselves with the ear to the ear of the divine, discerning that which is ours to do as divine right action. So we take a deep breath and release. Release this word, the cares, concerns, intentions, affirmations of anyone listening. And that as we release that breath, we are releasing this word to that aspect of the mind of the divine itself, expressing as unconditional love. It's the law of its own being. So we take another deep breath. And in deep gratitude and confidence, we just release it now to its divine unfoldment. And that we stay with this sense of peace and serenity that we've created, that it follows us through the rest of this evening, that we, as we make our way through our evening routine, find our way to our beds, that we lay our head on the pillow, drifting easily and effortlessly off into deep slumber, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken feeling rested, fully rested, and vitalized, that we feel a vitality, a vim and vigor, an excitement for the day to come, as we move through our way, knowing that our I am consciousness makes the crooked ways straight, allows us to see with the gift of insight. Take a breath. Just release it all now, knowing it is done, knowing it is so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. Oh, went a little bit long tonight. So, we have a lot of stuff going on. It's in our constant contact. I don't think it's made it on the website yet. We are meeting in person at 9 a.m. and 10:30 right here in the sanctuary. 10:30 is a live stream, so if you're joining us for the first time and you'd like to see what our Sundays look like, that's 10:30 at this same bat channel, but at 10:30. And then on the 29th, on Wednesday evening, we have Brian Lotman will be joining us, and he'll be bringing his harmonium along and sharing his understandings of the Vedic teachings and teaching us some chants. And so we'll chant and meditate together. That'll be a little longer program. And I encourage you to come in and join us. That's on the Wednesday between Christmas and New Year's. We will be meeting on Christmas Eve for a Christmas Eve service. That'll be a candlelight service. And we'll be doing that on Zoom. So pay attention for that. We'll have to get that into the chat next week so you can see how to join us. That way we can light candles together and do all that with you at home and those of us here in the sanctuary. So if you're planning on staying at home and you don't have a candle, you got 2 weeks to find one and a match. All right. So with that, it's been my pleasure to be with you here. So on behalf of myself and Miriam, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Peace and blessings. We'll see you next time.